Hey, good morning, and thank you for joining us for another Sales and Marketing Fry Talks. As usually, we run conversation around different topics related to the B2B, business development, sales, and marketing. And today, we, Andrejs and Rolands we have prepared a topic what we believe is way more important than probably any other we have discussed, and that is about how to really make marketing delivering some tangible results and impact what everyone expects. And for that conversation, we would like to start with just understanding what actually are those key challenges and why marketing might not be delivering on the results. And then we will look deeper on what are these key steps, what potentially can be helpful for changing this situation. And those steps are based on our own experience. And we, like probably already over 7 years working with B2B companies all across Europe. And based on this, we somehow managed to nail down to the framework what actually seems to be working well for structuring properly, and connecting revenue targets with the marketing activities. And that is what we are going to discuss today. Roland, what do you think? Anything else? Anything I missed to mention?
No, I don't. I don't think you missed. But personally, my first trade or my first education was involving marketing. All my life, I have been passionate about marketing, and all my life, I am also have been always thinking, okay, how to make marketing more productive. So I'm very excited about this topic we are talking today, because both research shows that actually in field of marketing there's quite a lot of trouble, right? And the reasons for that are basically very multi-faced. And I personally believe that the first reason is because marketing has changed so much, so that business managers, CEOs, they don't really know how to use marketing, right? They don't know what kind of task to ask, how to prepare budget, and so on. And the marketing professionals, from others hand, they very often end up somewhat isolated and being forced to focus on what is visible. So making things that people like nice, I don't know, nice events, nice videos, and so on. And very rarely they get support in terms of strategy, in terms of alignment, and so on. And moreover, I think very often marketing gets under pressure to deliver some kind of very tactical, very short-term results, right? And at the end, this game for companies really not working. Marketing is busy. Marketing is under lots of pressure to deliver on many multiple priorities. Marketing has trouble to show or demonstrate marketing results. Business managers, they certainly feel they have some use for marketing, but they don't have good idea how to use them better. And at the end, it ends up not working too well for, I would say, for most companies. And this we know both from our experience, and this is also what research also tells, that marketing sales alignment, for example, is the most important problem companies have. What's your view on that, Andres?
Oh, I mean, I agree, of course, with all you just mentioned, but I think not just to position marketing as something like as a weak, part of the game or something. Like I think there are also other factors what influences the results and overall impact besides what you mentioned. And I think other important ones to mention are related to how the customers are changing and evolving. How do they actually make decisions? Looking at potential vendor solutions and stuff like that. So I think that also requires a lot different approach from marketing and from sales in general. And combining that together, what you just mentioned, and those external factors on how has changed the buyer behavior, that probably creates this challenge. And of course, this particular pressure on the short term, what you mentioned, I think that's very disturbing as well, because as soon as you always need to deliver something today or even yesterday, it's a better, right? Then you have no time basically to think and to structure your work and to go after something bigger. And I think that's probably very important challenge to be tackled.
Yeah, I think in a sense companies are correct in asking for results now, right? Because after all, if they're investing in marketing, they want to get results and so on. But a mistake companies very often make is that they are only focusing on what we can call harvesting existing demand. So making existing leads, let's say, purchase sooner or purchase faster and so on. But what they miss, they are actually missing creating demand, building reputation, building trust, and so on, and basically creating and generating customers for the next quarter, for the next year, and so on. Because in B2B we very well know that average purchase cycle is something like 7 months long, right? So and what you are doing right now at the end of February basically will bring you results sometimes in autumn, right? And very often throwing money at marketing cannot and does not help you, let's say, close this month, right? We are at the very end of February. No amount of marketing, unless you start investing marketing money in purchasing your own products, can really fix the situation if sales doesn't go well.
Yeah, I think it's totally understandable. What companies are expecting, of course, results today, because they need to meet their targets, deliver quotas, and everything else. There is no problem with that. The problem is with those expectations, as you said, whether you do something also which will not only bring you results today, but also will ensure that you have results tomorrow, after the months, and so on. But all that starts, I think, with this fact that many companies are missing the alignment part in their kind of marketing planning and execution. And I think if you now turn this conversation to, okay, but how to tackle that? What are these steps? And as you mentioned, based on our own experience, I think everything starts like the zero ground, let's say, step is basically about understanding how, or even first understanding what is the target for us. And I think in general, probably most of people know what they need to achieve, but the question is whether all in an organization are equally informed about what the particular target is for them and how they can contribute to that. And the same applies to the marketing. So we know that if you have like a total revenue target, it probably have different sources how it can be achieved. Something is coming from existing run rate business, something is coming from existing customers where you drive some upsell, cross-sell, and stuff like that. And then there are some parts where the marketing then have the biggest impact. And so marketing have to understand exactly what the part of this new revenue can be and should be impacted and delivered by the marketing. And then how that all translates into specific KPIs. So if you need to deliver 1 million of new revenue, what does it mean for my company, for my business, in terms of the number of deals, in terms of number of opportunities we need to generate, in terms of sales qualified leads, marketing qualified leads, and you go up to the very beginning of your funnel, of your pipeline. And then when you have done this exercise together with your sales, product team, and maybe anyone else who is part of your kind of team, then that's the first alignment level where we all understand what we need to deliver, and then we can start discussing how do we do that, from where all these new leads, all these new opportunities and deals can be generated.
Yes, exactly. I think exactly as you said. First of all, slice down the target into some smaller units. Understand where exactly you need to apply pressure. Which segments is it large accounts? Is it small accounts? Is it this geography and that makes this discussion much more realistic. And I think generally this discussion should focus really on pipeline and just understanding of how sales pipeline looks like now, and what is the gap that marketing needs to deliver, and understanding also conversion rates, right? It allows quite quickly re-engineer back sales targets into marketing targets, and it also helps understanding how to reach these marketing targets in terms of investment, right? And again, doing this exercise can also reveal that perhaps the targets that business have are unrealistic in terms of investment that they're happy to give marketing, right? But again, that's a good news if you understand in early planning that goals are not realistic. Then either you need the extra investment or goals need to be changed, but you are at least not fooling yourself and all your company, hoping that you can reach the goals with inadequate investment.
But that's exactly the point of this first step, right? So aligning on those targets, on what exactly needs to be delivered, and then understanding, what requires for that, and then you as a marketing and all other stakeholders, making a very well-informed decision whether we really then can achieve what needs to be achieved with those resources what are available to us, and then if there are no enough resources, we all actually aware of this early enough to make some decisions, to make some changes, and then ensure that we have all necessary to achieve those results. Otherwise, again, it will be very easy to blame marketing, that marketing is not delivering something. But if from the very beginning it was clear that they have not enough resources and capacity to do that, so it's not wise, right? But I think the next step, when you have understood that, is really also to understand, from where those leads comes, and actually who are those potential customers whom we are going after. And I think that is another very common gap. What we see that many companies somehow rely on this maybe existing approach, what they already have. They go and just hunting for any possible client, and then trying to get them in, and so on and so forth. But today, when especially you are limited in your resources, and you need to be very kind of focused on where you invest them, I think understanding who are your so-called ideal customers is very important. And here we are talking about really looking at different kind of levels of understanding your customer. And first of all, you need to understand, like from the company perspective, by looking at demographical and firmographical criteria. Who are those best clients for you? Where you want to go after, and then you go to the next level, understanding also, but what actually can indicate that they have a particular need for our solution, or they have particular pain what we can solve for them. And I think it's also important to understand whether there are any kind of signals or criteria what can tell us that this customer not gonna buy from us for different reasons. And if we really understand that well early enough in the process, we can avoid spending resources, time, and money for these type of customers. Again, we become more effective in what we are doing, and we are driving better ROI from everything what we do. And then, of course, we need to look at things like how do they make decisions? What is the decision-making process within these companies? who are part of this decision-making process. And then as soon as we understand that, we can also nail down to this particular people, particular personas, as we can call them, right? And try to understand their profiles and questions, what they are looking for being answered, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yes, I want to, a bit to return to this drafting, this purchase process. And ideally, it should happen with marketing and sales sitting in the same room, just using, whiteboard and just trying to think, okay, if we try to step into customer shoes, how they progress in their decision towards, purchase. What's the first step? What triggers them? What is something that makes them come together and think, okay, do we need a solution, right? And if you try to draft these decisions, different decisions they make, and this can be, for example, just first decision start to make a formal buying group, right? What triggers that? What are the key questions this buying group tries to answer? Like, for example, they may be deciding, okay, are we looking for solution, let's say, on the cloud or on premise? Would we be happy to outsource, or do we want to keep it internally? All right. Do we want such architecture or that architecture, and so on? What is important for us? Is important low cost or premium quality, very good service, right? And if we just depict this buying process this way, it helps us identify who are participants at each stage, and it also helps us very much with preparing marketing content, because if we go through this chain of making decisions, we can also very easily identify what kind of questions these people would have, and therefore what kind of marketing content would be helpful to them, right? And of course, it also helps us to identify who are the key persons involved, and which type of persons we need them to profile in a buyer's persona profile.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that first step, that what you described and we just discussed about alignment and understanding, I think in our framework we usually call research and alignment. So which basically is what we just discussed, right? And that is the first step. I think what we highly recommend, not skipping and spending enough time on this, because that sets the base for everything what you do for your strategy, setting the strategy, as you said, like harvesting demand and generating demand, and also then for execution. And that is exactly what happens next. I think as soon as you have understood those critical points, what we just mentioned, and processes behind the decision making and everything else related to that, it's very easy to or relatively easy to find the way how you can approach those customers, right? Because it's very clear then for you what are their key problems, what are these solutions, what you can position to them. And I think that is also very important to align together with the sales. What is this unique value, what we can offer to them, and convert this value into customer benefits. And again, I'm sure that most of companies, they have their unique value proposition defined, but here we are talking about adjusting it to the specific ideal customer profiles or segments, whatever you call it, because then you can really put right emphasis for each of them, and then highlight or kind of customize your story specific to the needs and to the scenarios what are related to these, let's say, ideal customers. And additional to that, I think what is important to think about are what are these, let's say, door opener offers, or we can call them pre-sale offers, right? What we want to lead them to. Because obviously that those B2B deals, they are not happening just on the spot, right? There is a process what customers are going through, and we need just to make sure that from the marketing perspective, we drive them to these steps, what then give salespeople opportunity to deeper relationships, expand engagement, and then basically successfully close the deal. Or what do you think?
Yes, I think Yeah, I think here these door opening or pre-sales offers are extremely important, particularly from marketing perspective. Because if you are just, let's say, focusing on selling $500,000 deal from marketing perspective, that's a real tough, real difficult task. But if you look at what is your goal actually, so your goal is ultimately you want to sell this $500,000 offer, but more tactically, what you want to give your sales or your technical team opportunity to have qualified conversation or experience with customer. So very often marketing should focus or not think entirely about selling $500,000 deal, but thinking about steps before that. For example, selling a workshop which allows possible end customers to experience the quality of your team, their thinking, their communication, the results of the workshop, and so on. And that is very often, good focus for marketing to think not only about the end result, but also how can you extend, your hand to customers earlier than that. How you can create some kind of smaller offers which gradually build customer commitments, and at the same time it allows you to demonstrate the value of what will they get at the end with that, let's say, $500,000 deal.
Yeah, and in other words, we can say that basically you need, together with sales team, to define the funnel. How will you, target your customers, with what message, with what value proposition, what type of offerings at different stages of this buying journey and funnel, and then it becomes very easy for marketing to plan activities and execute them, because then they are like integrated between each other. You know that this is the step which leads to the next, and then you know what to do in the next step to lead to the again next, and then to the pipeline, and then so on and so forth. And as you mentioned, we still need to respect this need for short-term results. And so therefore, when you think of these funnels, I believe you need to look at two directions, and one of them is what we're just discussing about how to basically create a demand, how to develop this demand, and help sales to build a pipeline what they can work with and optimize. On the other hand, we also have to take care of some existing demand on the market. Of course, it's probably not enough for us to cover the entire, let's say, new business target, but nevertheless, we have to have also funnels and tactics defined and executed to capture the demand what already exists on the market, including having a possibility to really see who are the customers or companies who may be signaling to us that they have some intent to learn more or to buy our solution. Like as an example, whether do you have information about who is actually visiting your web page, and what exactly they are looking and on this page, whether they are going to your product page regularly, checking prices, and so on and so forth. And there are technologies available what can again be used for sourcing those leads, which can be quite quickly converted into sales. Then obvious channels like Google or any other search, like including Bing and many other channels, what especially for SaaS companies can be very good source of short-term wins, like review sites and similar to that. I think we still need to have it as a part of our execution, but then they should be also connected with the remaining part of the creation of demand creation, because then we can connect them together and have it as a one integrated approach, which again will be much better optimized for overall growth. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I think marketing needs to take care of both things. And actually, if marketing is working on the demand generation enough, they inevitably have built up an audience of interested leads. And with using marketing automation and scoring, they can also filter out who of those interested leads actually are more interested than others, and then that of course serves as a good source of leads that sales can work with, because there's evidence that they are more active, they are more interested, um, and
Mm-hmm.
so on.
Mm-hmm.
But again, marketing needs to take care of both activities, even if you cannot, just like that convert demand generation into ready deals. But if you are planning to grow, next half year, next year, you cannot just, ignore demand generation, even if you cannot show sales results right now. That's a seed for the next year, like and just like in
Absolutely.
agriculture,
Absolutely.
just like in agriculture. And if you kind of do not seed, you will not have a harvest. So as simple as that.
It's a good analogy. Yeah. I think we both agree that as soon as you have these funnels defined, then it's again becomes very natural and easy for you to create a content plan and create an activity plan. And I think again that is these are questions what we have heard a lot, like, hey guys, we all know this theory, we even have done many exercises what we just mentioned, right? But the challenge is how to connect all these dots, how to
Yes.
make sure that we have right content for right segment or ICP for the right personas in right mix of activities and so on. What do you think, Roland? What would be the way to approach this content plan or planning after you have done those activities what we have just discussed?
Well, first of all, if you really have went through this framework or sequence of steps of planning as we described, then content matters are kind of answered obviously. Like for example, if you prepare buyer's persona profile, it becomes very clear what's their challenges, what their objections, what are their tasks they want to accomplish, right? And it just instantly gives you a lot of content ideas. Moreover, if you draft this purchase process and you think of what kind of people are involved, what they are trying to accomplish, right? That again provides great input for content. And in terms of content, the whole thing is maybe easier than many practitioners think, because I think the key to planning marketing content is indeed doing the steps that we described earlier, right? And that makes creating content really easy. And another thing regarding content is just to make sure you repurpose, you reuse content, you pull up last year's content from time to time, because you see, if you have larger format content, let's say well-researched white paper, you can make easily from that quite a lot of social posts, quotes, graphics, etc. Right? If you have a white paper, you can produce a webinar. If you produce a webinar, then you have a presentation, right? From presentation, you can reuse lots of slides as a social post. You can cut the webinar into fragments, and you can produce short form video content, right? And if you consider all that, you really need less content than you perhaps think. And just by reusing, repurposing content, you can really create significant presence on social networks. One more thing I have to emphasize here is that most of companies and most of businesses suffer from very low, view rate and engagement rate on social networks. Although social networks are extremely powerful in such a way that you can keep on posting small bit of information regularly, right? And that's how you build awareness, how you build trust, and so on, right? But the trick is that you need to target, you need to use paid advertising to target your social posts to your target audience. So if you have defined your ideal customer profiles, it's very clear whom you have to target. And let's say if you are targeting just to showing your content to those people, it's also incredibly cheap, so it doesn't cost a fortune. And that's a very powerful way how to build actually an audience, build demand generation for future with people who are aware of what your product is, what your company stands for, and so on. And of course, once people are aware about you, the chances that you will end up selling to them is much higher. Like last time, I think we picked up these statistics. I think it was by by Forrester, who have figured out that actually in 90% of cases, buying groups end up buying the offering from vendor that they actually knew about before they started the purchase.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So again, you need to spread this word, build awareness, and so on.
Yeah, we have discussed about this in our previous conversations, and definitely we suggest watching it. And we also have a couple of webinars which are available on our webpage, and you can also use them for learning more and digging deeper into this. But I think what you also mentioned is that by knowing exactly whom and what you need to deliver, it becomes very easy to build a plan, right? And then I think it's also very easy for you to prioritize, because what we mentioned in the very beginning, that one of the challenges is that marketing is being involved in so many different initiatives, and they always are requested to execute ad hoc activities and spend their resources and efforts on things what in the end of the day might not be contributing to this end result what we discussed should be defined in the very beginning of the process. And then if you have all these steps what we just discussed, and you have your consolidated content plan, you have consolidated activity plan which aligns with those targets, which aligns with those segments what you are going after, which aligns basically to these funnels what you need to execute, then for you it's very easy to determine whether this request which comes in from sales or anyone else, even within your own team, whether that will contribute to what you need to achieve. And then this discussion actually can be put into completely different perspective, right? Whether it's CEO of company who is requesting you anything to do extra or to do different, or it's just a salesperson. You always can then challenge them and say, hey guys, this is what we have agreed in the beginning. Do you believe that this activity will really contribute to that, and so on? So at least it's a very very good chance that they will be reconsidering, and you will stay focused very much. I think that's crucial to make things and to make actually everyone then happy in the end of the day, that there is some impact, and not blaming marketing again that hey, they spend tons of money but with low impact.
Yes, exactly. I think this is probably the most important point you made, just for marketing professionals, like personal, for their, I don't know, this mental health and so on. Because once you have completed planning, you have a very solid framework. Everybody wants to push you around. You can ask them, okay, like which kind of or activities that we planned we must reduce, right? If you don't have idea, then I mean, how can we help you? We're doing what we can. We're doing exactly what we agreed. Do you have some extra resources? Maybe we can hire a teammate, or you have more budget, we can use an agency. And if not, then, well, sorry.
Yeah, definitely. And again, this consolidated plan, it's also serves you for coordinating all the initiatives, because again, probably in a bigger companies especially, there are so many things happens that again it's quite difficult to make them contributing to the same things equally and so on. So again, when you have this plan consolidated, everyone can refer to that, everyone can use it for planning their activities, and then you can always have a process where you make decisions what to do and when, and what we need to skip maybe, and so on. But it also serves you as a way how you can basically justify everything what has been invested. So because you can easily show what have been done, why this was done, what was the impact of these activities, and how in the end of the day it all contributed to the growth of the company. But for that, of course, you need to be very clear on those KPIs, and that is what we discussed in the very beginning. And when you have your KPIs defined for different stages of your marketing and sales pipeline, then it's a good to have them here as well, reflected in your activity plan. But you also have to take care of some process behind that. And what we always recommend is to set up some regular rhythm with your peers, which would help you to keep this alignment alive on regular basis. So something what you do on operational, so it can be like even on weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, depends on overall, let's say, rhythm of your business, where you discuss like very specific KPIs of particular initiatives, particular activities. You evaluate the quality of leads and things like that. And then you also have to have something regular, maybe monthly or quarterly, where you reflect on your strategy and again maybe do some changes to optimize that, because things are changing and you have to be flexible. That's also clear. But on that level, probably you mainly align with the head of sales, maybe with head of product and things like that. And then it's organizational level, but that is more strategic, and beyond that, it's more about necessary support from the leadership team, maybe some budget reallocations, maybe some resource reallocations and things like that. That is something what probably happens, I don't know, twice a year or maybe once a year or something like that. Yeah. What do you think, Roland? Anything else what you would add here?
Not really, but I just want from my side again to stress again that there are two faces of a coin, right? And one is planning, creating a plan, and second, equally important, is these regular reviews, because these regular reviews is actually a way how you keep alignment with the company, how you continue building your own credibility, right? And how you can get extra resources and make easier planning for the next year. So planning is the first step in taking initiative, and then sustaining this initiative and growing your personal impact in organization. That is about regular, well-prepared reviews, so that everybody is informed, everybody is happy. And if you do that, your career will go just, skyrocket.
Yeah, we wish it to you. And that was a good wrap up. Thanks for that, Roland. I think we need to conclude our conversation today. Again, if any one of you interested in digging deeper, you are more than welcome to check our website. There is a recording from one of our latest webinars on these topics. We, I guess, had spent about 1.5 hours, explaining it in the great details. But also, if any of you interested to join a practical exercise based on this framework, you are also welcome to check our GTM bootcamp agenda and see whether it is something what will be helpful for you. And feel free to ping us to learn more or just sign up. Otherwise, we would like to thank you being with us this Friday. We wish you to really turn your marketing into the growth engine. And if you are interested to learn more, always follow our company, ibd-consulting, on LinkedIn, or use the hashtag FryTalks, which will help you to search and find related topics in these conversations, what we are doing already for third year, I think.
Yes.
And all our previous episodes are available also as a recording on YouTube. Feel free to check it out, and on podcast platforms. Just go and search for B2B Sales and Marketing FryTalks, and you will find us there as well. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of the Friday. And we wish you a great success with all you do. Bye-bye.
Bye.